Fantastic. Well, hello, and welcome to the Rock and Roll Podcast. I am your host, John Harris, and today on the Rock and Roll Podcast, we have Among the Ruined, and last year they released an EP called Despite All Odds, and via Collision Course Records, and they've just released a new music video to support the record, and as well, they've got a lot of cool stuff going on. So we're going to be chatting about the EP, Despite All Odds. We're going to be chatting about that new music video, Death of Perseverance, and then also as well, there's a killer music video for Alone in This Tomb, We Are Broken. And I think I'm looking at the tomb right now. But, Paddy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. This is great.
Absolutely great to have you on, my good man. So, I guess maybe take us through, because you guys released the EP, high hopes, the world is crumbling. Take us through this last year. Like, how have things gone? And we'll start getting into, what is this EP? So take us through the last year.
Cool. So, yeah, the last year has been interesting. It's been an interesting time to take our sort of launching first step into a career in the music industry. But, we'd been working on our album Despite All Odds for quite some time, really trying to make it the best we can and take our time with the production and the music videos. We actually recorded and edited the album ourselves. I engineered and edited it, and we took our time to seek out a producer and all that. And just when we'd got everything together, we'd got our marketing plan, our PR, and sort of COVID starts to roll in, and we're sort of unsure about the whole thing, and we decide to go ahead with our plans and do the best we can with it. And obviously, look, it wasn't ideal with how everything has turned out, I'm sure, for everyone, but things are, it's really worked out the best it can, and I don't know what else to say. It's been good, basically. Good first step. We've gotten some good opportunities, and we're ready to keep on stepping up.
Keep on stepping up, Yahoo. Cool. I don't know why I called it an EP. It looks like an album to me. There's 7 songs, and you keep saying album. I don't know why. Maybe somewhere along the line, the email I received calls it an EP. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's been a sort of topic of discussion ever since we sort of released it with people, whether it's an album, whether it's an EP. Some people call it an album, sometimes people call it an EP, sometimes we call it either one. It's kind of an extended EP almost. I mean, what's an EP? Like 4 or 5 songs, albums normally like 9, 10 songs. Mm-hmm. This is like 6 with an intro track, so 7 tracks. So I don't think anyone really knows what to call it, but
Yeah.
We'll go with album or whatever you like.
I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there who knows the answer, Paddy. But technically, all that stuff, all those names came from the days of vinyl records when the music industry was entirely unrecognizable to what it is now. But
yes, true. Very true.
Speaking
different terms, different time.
Different times, Yahoo. Speaking of which, I am now on your Spotify page. And I know Boris is how you would say his name in I'm sure Russian or Ukrainian or whatever. Boris was very, very like, we're going to talk about these things. So I want to make sure I hit these things. We want to make sure Boris is happy.
We will hit those things.
I'll hit those things. We will get there. But one of the things that I noticed on the Spotify page is False Idols is the most popular track. And so sometimes what happens is that's just because it's track number 1. So I go to click on the album and I find out it's actually not track number 1. So now I'm thinking that people actually really love this song. Does that surprise you?
Yes, definitely. False Idols was kind of a slow burn and then a bit of a late bloomer and then kind of took off for some reason. I'm not really sure why. Maybe I do know why. It's the heaviest track on the album. Maybe that has something to do with it. I'm not sure. Obviously, Despite All Odds and Alone in This Tomb being the first 2 singles, they had, most of the popularity in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, sort of there was a late surge with False Idols, and we had, people messaging us saying that it was their favorite song, and, we better play it live at our next show and that kind of thing.
Better.
So we better, and we did. So, we had a fun time. But yeah, it definitely was a surprise. We were kind of like, what happened? But, we'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Perfect. Now, going back to Alone in This Tomb, We Are Broken. Parenthetically, We Are Broken. I'm looking at this music video. It's a killer music video. I mean, you guys look, young, vibrant, fresh, sweaty.
Bunch of young bucks.
Yeah, a bunch of swashbuckling young bucks. It must have been hot when you guys were recording the music video.
Yeah, definitely. We'd been, and we try to really give it our all with the energy and, stomping around and flipping our hair around for hours on end, non-stop. I guess, you can work up a bit of a sweat.
It's
the lights on you, have some fun.
Yeah, well, it sells it. And I think, I can tell when there's a band who doesn't know that they're supposed to give 137% in a music video because it just comes across as looking really bad.
Yeah.
But,
or like one person's going hard and then it cuts to shots of the other members and they're like just chilling out.
Yeah. Yeah. It cuts to the female singer who doesn't know if she should be moving or not, so she's just kind of like doing a sidestep thing.
Step together.
Boom, I don't know. Boom. But at least she dressed up, so she's like wearing the boots and stuff. Dun, dun, dun. Cool.
Gotta have the look.
You got to have the look. Speaking of the look, take us through these guitars because you guys are slinging them low, like James Hetfield, but they look like some very unique instruments. What are you guys playing?
So I'm playing a custom artist signature Dean. So brand is Dean. It's actually a Jackie Vincent signature guitar previously in Falling in Reverse. And he was, he's one of my favorite guitarists, and I've listened to Falling in Reverse, and Escape the Fate since the beginning. I love purple. Purple's my favorite color, and so when I saw it met all the specs that I wanted, and I was like, that is an awesome guitar. I must have that. There was zero in Australia, so I actually had to order it on Amazon in America, and my dad at the time happened to be over there, so he brought it back for me, which was very awesome. But so that's mine. Bailey, the other guitarist, he's got, as you said, a James Hetfield custom signature guitar. But in the video, I think it's a Ibanez. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not sure about the exact model, but I actually just bought a new Ibanez as well, 7-string. We're getting into the Genty boys now.
Uh-oh. No, you're not cool. But, yeah. You gotta have like a 9-string or a 10-string at this point, so.
Yeah, well, hey, look, we're taking it back to 7.
Good.
We're keeping it.
Good. That's fantastic. We tune to a frequency that only cats can hear, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just
Sweet.
Vibrates the earth,
Yeah, exactly. It just
gotta feel it.
Feel it. It's a guitar, but you can only feel it. So
real musicians only feel the music.
That's right. And then a tambourine for some strange reason. Cool. What is this song about? Is it related to the album? Is it a theme? Alone in This Tomb, We Are Broken. So you were broken and then you got into the tomb, or you got into the tomb and then you were broken. At what stage did you get broken and then end up in the tomb?
It was a very long process, I can tell you that. No, Alone in This Tomb is sort of a bit more of like a personal reflection of myself, talking about some of the inner struggles that I've had along the way with anxiety and that kind of thing. And sort of speaking out, sort of that everyone kind of has that, and everyone sort of goes through similar things like that along the way. And yet everyone or most people feel that way, but then everyone feels alone at the same time, even though we're kind of all in the same boat. So, yeah, kind of just talking about that in a personal sense, but then also in a positive, plural sense.
Mm-hmm. As soon as you said we're all in the same boat, I immediately went to, this depressing thought of, after the pandemic, I've now realized that we are all in the same boat, and this boat doesn't ever dock in port, so I can get off.
It's looking a bit that way. I mean, we can only hope. I feel pretty positive about it at the moment. I think that it's only a matter of time before things all work out, at least to a certain extent, so that we can travel and do proper shows again. That's all I want. That's all I can hope for.
Mm-hmm. Well, coming from Australia, because you guys locked down pretty hard, you're able to do a bit of touring, correct?
Sort of. Yeah, we're definitely in a much better situation than a lot of other countries. We've been able to do local shows for quite a while now. At first, they were seated, which for a metal show was interesting, to say the least. They tried to make chair moshing a thing for a little while there.
What?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was headbanging, trying to move around in the chair. Yeah, it was a whole thing. I don't know about that, but it wasn't. Yeah, just headbanging. Get those horns up there. It was weird, man. I got to say it was weird, but people can stand now, and we've played some shows where we've been able to get like a good mosh going, and it's really it's felt good. It's felt alive. It's felt like real live music is back again. And tours are starting to get announced. I'm not sure if, I think, tours are starting to happen, kind of. Some borders are open and closed, some are not. Like in Brisbane and Queensland, we've been pretty fine for the most part, but I think in Melbourne it's been a bit rocky along the way some of the time. So proper tours down to Sydney and Melbourne, I think, have been not on the table, but I think they are now. Yeah. I guess things are definitely pretty more open. I think that the tours that are happening are like maybe half capacity or something like that still. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely some restrictions here and there, but it definitely feels very mild compared to pretty much anywhere else that I've seen,
Okay. The joke that I'd heard, because you mentioned some cities there, so I'm looking it up. So Melbourne, that's the state of Victoria, right?
Yes. Yeah, the Victorians.
Yeah, I've heard that
people say that.
Yeah, they're like the Spice Girls. Everybody's on board except for Victoria. Everybody's putting in the work right now except for Victoria. So, cool. The other thing we needed to chat about was Death of Perseverance and the music video, which is a rankus bit of debauchery, full of just sin. No wonder you're among the ruined. I can see why, looking at this music video. But I guess, was this filmed before the pandemic, or is this one of the shows that was allowed? How did this come to be?
This was post-COVID. This was a post-COVID show.
Okay.
It was seated, though. It was seated. We have done a couple of shows since that are able to be standing now, but that one at the time was seated. It was a sold-out show, so it was a packed room, but all tables and chairs. They were able to stand up the back around the bar and stuff, but not allowed to like move or dance or anything. So yeah, it was cool but weird at the same time. And yeah, it sort of just came together quite quickly, that one, to be honest. We just had a photographer there that we asked if he could shoot some footage for us, and the guys at UAC management, their team edited it together for us, and it just sort of came together really, really quick and easy. Mm-hmm. Compared to the other two music videos. It was great.
Mm-hmm. You didn't have to find a purple light and a purple guitar to make you happy, so it was just
yeah. Boom. That's all we needed.
Boom. Sweet. Okay. looks like we have just enough time for a couple more questions. So one of the other things we were supposed to hit was that you guys are working on a new album. There's a recording process, and there's some plans for 2021. So go.
All right. So, we've, over the sort of COVID process, we've taken the time to do a lot of writing, as I'm sure a lot of bands and artists have done. But we're really excited at the moment because it's really sort of come down to crunch time. We're recording the next album. There's going to be no debate whether it's a EP or an album this time. Definitely an album. Definitely the length of an album. And I'm not sure what I can say, but I'm so excited about it because just everything is just going to another level pretty much. I'm like, it's already like the production, the songwriting, the diversity in the sounds and the inspirations that we're sort of all wrapping together and building upon. A lot more diversity in the styles of tracks and in the different sounds and
like an ocarina in there.
A what? Sorry,
an ocarina. It is a Latin American instrument. There's a Mexican band actually that we do mixing and stuff, and there was a Mexican band that I work with that actually recorded a real ocarina. And up to that point, I just thought it was something in Zelda, the Ocarina of Time. But you mentioned diversity, so I was looking for something like really out there.
Yeah, that is out there. That's out there. We haven't taken that direction yet, but that's an interesting take. I think you never know. Throw that in there. Maybe we'll do an opera track, a country track. Who knows?
You could have didgeridoos. Do you have any didgeridoos in there?
Oh man, that's a good idea. We need to capitalize on the Australian thing more, don't we? We need to really own being Australian. Why not?
I think
let's get some didgeridoos in there
because it kind of has. It's not a distorted instrument, but the way that it sounds, at least to my ear, I've never heard one in real life, but it sounds like it would fit super well in a metal mix.
I mean, I gotta say, I haven't even thought about that, but now that you say that, that's an interesting idea. I don't hear a lot of metal bands, using didgeridoos, so that could be something different.
Yeah. Instead of a synthesizer playing like a low, I don't know how low they go, but instead of a synthesizer playing certain notes, you could have a didgeridoo playing those notes.
Yeah.
And then it would...
You can get them in different sizes and different pitches and like, with your lips, you can like create like different pitches and sounds as well with like how you blow into it and whatnot. I used to be able to play didgeridoo actually.
I bet. A purple didgeridoo.
Yeah. I wish that'd be awesome. I'll get one.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do that.
Exactly. Sweet. Okay, so we got a new album. We're stepping it up a notch. We've got the management team backed behind you. We've chatted about Death of Perseverance, the live music video where people were chair moshing. We've chatted about Alone in This Tomb. Parenthetically, we are broken. What else did we chat about today? We chatted about, you mentioned launching a career in the music industry at the right time, which was cool.
Yeah, perfect time.
Yeah, and then struggling with anxiety. Though the funny thing is, when you were mentioning it, almost sounded like it was, because there's productive anxiety, like, I got to get this done. And then there's non-productive anxiety where you're just like crippled and you can't get out of bed and you don't know why. So which anxiety was it? Did the pandemic help that at all?
Did the pandemic help that at all? What was the first question? Whether it's like productive or not? Yeah,
because it sounded actually like it was productive anxiety, and that's actually come up a few times on the show. Like, every emotion is positive if we know how to use it, and anxiety, like anger and whatever else, is actually a positive emotion. It means there's something that needs to be done or something that needs to change, and if we acknowledge that, then I have an anxiety when I wake up in the morning that I need to record an interview with Paddy. Well, it's not like, oh God, and I'm crippled. It's like, okay, I got to make sure I'm prepared for this interview. I got to make sure I have my talking points. I got to make sure I'm charismatic and that I get along with Paddy.
Yeah.
You know,
kind of like guilt. Like, I think, guilt can be a very valuable tool in a lot of ways because, you guilt yourself into making sure that you get what you need to get done and that you're meeting, your own standards and your own goals and that you're not letting other people down and, it can definitely work for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get what you're saying there. And I definitely think that my anxiety does have a positive effect. I don't think that was necessarily the inspiration for the song.
Right.
Although there is a little bit of a positive spin thrown in there, of kind of trying to be a bit positive, that, everyone, as I said, is in the same boat and sort of, we need to, communicate more and sort of be there for each other a little bit more. But yeah, talking personally about like my own stuff, it's definitely more the negative stuff that I don't let it hold me back and I manage it and I keep it under control. But I guess I haven't really thought about anxiety in that way before, but you're totally right with that.
Well, the funny thing you mentioned too is the guilt factor, because it is a productive, very positive emotion that has been abused by certain factions of society to
parents as well.
Yeah. Parents, religion, politics, they've taken this very productive emotion that's like, oh man, I should have done that. You know what? Next time I'm going to do that. And like, it's a productive thing into like, wow, that's another rabbit hole to get down. How?
Yeah, it can definitely be, used as a weapon as well. For good and for bad. So it's a tricky one, but it can definitely be used positively. And I think my own guilt is mostly used very positively and productively. So I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's right, baby. Okay.
Baby.
I think we've chatted about everything. Is there anything I missed that you wanted to chat about, Paddy?
I don't know. All the standard stuff. Check us out and whatnot.
check us out, baby. BB.
Yeah, I play in a band, guys. Have a listen.
I play in a band, man. Check us out. Sweet. Okay. Well, then, thank you so much for coming on to the Rock Metal Podcast today, Paddy.
Cool. Cheers for having me, man. This was fun.